This is 50 Shades of Green by Ask Shrek T. Ogre. It was dark and murky all around. Mud and filth oozed from even the slightest crevasse in the terrain. The gross stench of mildew and 4 billion years worth of death and decay rose from the deep. It would usually seem odd for a donkey to be in such a place, but this was no ordinary donkey, nor was an ordinary asshole. For this was the asshole of Shrek, the mightiest ogre in the swamp. He had just finished his Sunday morning donkey fucking and began rolling his dank swamp doobies. He took a puff as long and hard as his cock. The sweet taste carried through his complicated non-human respiratory system, smoking out his brain like a hiker smokes out a swarm of angry wasps. He was in another place, his mind bent and twisted, practically becoming a pair of Apple headphones. He exhaled from his ear stalks before the dank swamp weed permanently damaged his brain. No longer polluted by swamp grass, he smelled baking goods from the other room. "Donkey, are you making waffles?" asked Shrek. "Yes, I am. What do you ask?" "You look like you need some syrup." Shrek came on the waffles. The waffles, now properly sweetened by the voluminous discharge of the green ogre, were left where they were as Shrek wiped the tip of his long green love stick with some swamp mud and moved to better accommodate his massive ballsack. His dimpled butt cheeks sloshed with fat as he put his arms behind his neck, reclining on his leather armchair. "Shrek, you put way too much syrup on these waffles. I like them sweet, but these are too much. When did you get syrup anyways? Ack." "I picked up a loaf of it while I was back. I figured you'd like it." Donkey paid the comment no mind. He always loved waffles and sex, especially at the time. He took a plate of the waffles and sat at the table near Shrek's armchair. Donkey took a bite of the well-syruped waffles and let the somewhat salty, viscous flavor cleanse his palate. He recognized the flavor immediately, as he was familiar with the green sticky spray that would coat his face when Shrek came. "Shrek," he said playfully, "I believe you used the wrong syrup." His eyes were trained on Shrek as he licked a huge dollop off the waffles. Shrek smiled as he released a huge wet fart, which was amplified by the leather chair in which he was seated, and wafted towards his cub-loving roommate. He rose out of his chair, further releasing the nostril-searing stench throughout the room, and stretched. His bulbous love handles jiggled at every move while his full-busted man-tits playfully bounced along. When he was done looking at Donkey and smiled with his decaying teeth and asked, "Ready for round two?" Donkey's eyes widened, his tongue fell from his mouth, drooling profusely as a pair of XXL plaid pants hit the floor in front of him. Now there were two massive green beasts in the room. One was Shrek and the other was Shrek's penis. Donkey's hooves shook and rattled. Was Shrek really planning on filling him up twice in one morning? The excitement was too much, and he let out a guttural whinny, rearing up his hind legs as his massive dong hit the floor with a loud thud. Shrek slid across the table, sending the waffles flying and pinning Donkey against the floor. He put a hand on Donkey's muzzle, stroking it as his equine panting warmed his face. Shrek opened his maw, and Donkey quickly filled it with his long, horsey tongue, sighing in pleasure. Shrek let his hand fall from Donkey's soft plush ears and slide down towards his cold hood, when Shrek let out a horrible scream of pain. "Ah, me asshole!" He turned to find Puss in Boots wielding a rapier. "Fuck me if you dare."